Order. And I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Under the NCGS 143, 31811A5, digital land acquisition.
Oh,
So just somebody so moved.
yeah.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Morse has made the motion. All in favor? All right, motion is unanimous. Let's go in and get in closed session, I guess. To come out of closed session,
So moved.
Mr. Morse made the motion. All in favor?
And a motion to close the 5:30.
All right. And I'll need a motion, Mr. Morse, Mr. Cohen, close the 5:30 closed session. Close the 5:30 meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Morse has made the motion. All in favor? All right, unanimous. Yeah, we'll give a little bit of recess there. Let Mr. Barber join, and then we'll begin. Regular meeting to order. Want everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Just stand, please, silence for a moment of silence for all our veterans. Veterans Day coming up on Thursday. Thank you. Please be seated. Any agenda additions or deletions?
Mr. Mayor go ahead, Mr. Barber. Okay.
Sorry.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, you have a request to remove item 11G, tattoo establishments in the overlay district. Also, Mayor Alvarez is not here. He had an item 11F, diversity committee consideration. I don't know if the board wants to defer that until he's here, or if you would like to discuss that tonight. That'll be your choice.
Board, any objections to removing item G, 11G and 11F and sort of delaying that action until the mayor gets back?
No.
All right. So I'll need a motion. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you not need to delete?
It's, yeah, that's it. I know I did, but I didn't know the manager was going to step forward, so I appreciate that. It's the same thing, yeah. I still need a motion now.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Cohen has made a motion to remove item 11G, 11F, and to delay the item for the mayor until he gets back. All in favor?
To approve the amended
Well, to
agenda?
delete the items. All right, all in favor? All right, unanimous. And I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Mr. Cohen has made the motion. All in favor? All right, that's unanimous. Before we go on further, I just want to mention that the mayor is not here this evening. He wasn't feeling too well, so hopefully he'll get a speedy recovery and join us at the next meeting. But I just wanted to recognize why he's not here. So hopefully he's fine. Oh, and Mr. Head also did inform us that he was not going to be here. He had a previous engagement, so. Closed session we've covered. Item number 5, want to recognize November as North Carolina American Indian Heritage Month. And I'd like to welcome Rebecca LeClaire, and if I have your name wrong, please tell me that I said it wrong, and Andrea Richardson. If you guys can come up and just tell us a little bit more about American Indian Heritage Month. Thank you.
Yes, sir. This month is Native American Heritage Month, and I am the board member or the chairperson for Metro Carolina Native American Association. Andrea is a board member for Metro Carolina Native American Association also, and I'm also a commissioner for the North Carolina Commission of Indian Affairs. It sits up under Governor Cooper's office, and we just appreciate the partnership that we have with Indian Trail. We appreciate y'all recognizing Native American Heritage Month, and we just appreciate being here and the recognition. So anything that we can do for Indian Trail, we're more than happy to be here. Do you want to say anything, Andrew? Okay.
Well, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right. Any comments, council members? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Want to go ahead and open public comments, and do we have public comments? We have 2 public comment speakers tonight. We're good? All right,
No, I had,
so, 1 second.
I filled out my name on there.
Sir, say again? What was it?
There's one public comment, so I'm not sure what you.
Oh, yeah, you have your public comment sheet.
Yeah, I
And
do.
read the rules, thank you.
Right. Thank you for your interest in communicating with the Indian Trail Town Board. Comments will be recorded and can be heard on the internet. Please note the following rules when addressing the Indian Trail Town Council. Each speaker has 3 minutes to speak to the council. Please elect 1 speaker for groups whenever possible regarding the same message. Comments should be directed to all council members and not to specific individuals. Speakers are to remain respectful with reasonable standards of civility. Anonymous emails will not be read. Written public comments will be read for a restricted period of 20 minutes. Then emails will be noted as opposing or supporting. Any grievances regarding staff should be communicated to the town manager or town attorney and not aired in this forum. Meeting facilitator may discontinue or disallow the speaker to continue if rules are violated. All documents provided will become town property and will be available to the general public. And the first speaker we have is Mr. Ed. I can't pronounce the last name, but is that you, Mr. Ed?
Check out, yeah.
All right, check out. Mr. Ed, please come up. You have 3 minutes to speak, sir.
Okay, I used to come here more, I haven't been here in a while, but I'll first mention that I'm happy about the building here. It's very, very nice, and all the people that worked on it should be commended. Okay, first of all, I live in Somerston, too, in Brandon Oaks, and they're working on the streets. And some of what they're doing, I think, is a big waste of our taxpayer dollars. When they're putting on the beveled section of concrete between the storm drains, they're ripping up pieces of it, which they say are cracked. To me, we should just caulk that instead of digging up the whole thing with dump trucks and all the other cement and everything. Anyway, now they're replacing some of the culverts, which I think are coming to mind because I have paint marks and guys are all over the place. So that if that's more important, fine with the water and whatever. But I think that other thing, I just think I talked to Mr. I think it was Edelstein, and he was helpful to me to a degree. But I wonder where do these projects come from? Because I don't know. I just think some of the money could be better spent than some of the parts of the project that I see. But somebody can get back to me on that. At the end of the street where I live, the cul-de-sac, there's big storm drains along the way, and at the very end, which is the lowest point, has a small storm drain, which should be the opposite, because when we have had bad storms, all the water can't get down into that small little drain. Anyway, there's a big equipment that's parked on Brandon Oaks Parkway. I don't know if it's paving equipment. It shouldn't be there. You have a little cone and giant equipment that's in the street, so that means you only have a half a lane. People are going to try to pass each other. There's going to be a big accident. And I know of people who sued for millions and won back where I used to live because there was equipment that was, for the roads and whatever, parked not even on the street. They hit it was off on the grass, and they still won millions of dollars. So we don't want that to happen in Indian Trail. That equipment could be parked over by the tennis court over there, where there's nobody there by the tennis court right now this time of year. So that's that subject. Number 2 is voting. When I went to vote for the 2 terms that were not an unexpired term, I thought the top 3 vote getters would get in, but that isn't how it works. They have 2 lists, the full term and the partial term. So the third person could have got a high vote on the full term of like 1,000 votes, and the top person on the partial term could have got 200 votes, but that person that got the higher vote doesn't get in. So I don't understand. I thought the top 3 vote people would get in. The taxes, I'm unhappy about that. They raised the assessment, but they didn't lower the rate. I thought it was supposed to be revenue neutral. And you can't, if you need more money for more projects, first of all, they should put a notice in. The taxes haven't gone up in 10, 15 years. But why don't they just stick a note in there and explain it to everybody about what they're doing? And the county did the same thing. They changed the rate to somewhat compensate for that. But they should have put a note in too and explain what and why we're doing it. Just don't every year have no tax increase and have a big tax increase and then not explain it in a note to the people to have to pay the bills. The last thing I'll mention was about these apartments, which I'm sure you've heard 25 times. Where are all these cars going to go? I live in Brandon Oaks, so there's the townhouses there. Then there's by the Walgreens up here, there's all those apartments. Chestnut, there's full, at the
Mr.
end of
Ed-
Chestnut.
So, sorry to interrupt, but, so your time has expired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'll come back next meeting,
Thank you, thank
and
you
we'll
for speaking.
add some more to this.
Excuse me, Mr. Chacker, do we have the correct spelling of his name, and do we have a contact for him there?
Can we get it from him?
Yeah, it's on the thing. I put my phone number. If somebody would get back to me on some of those items,
Can
I
you
would
read it?
appreciate it.
Yeah, we have his phone number, we'll get to him.
And I would like to ask about the powwow, not about the powwow.
Yeah.
There used to be a powwow that had it to school over here, right?
Miss- So, sorry to interrupt.
Maybe these people can explain to us,
There is somebody else who has to speak, so I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
We'll follow up with him, Mr.
Please do,
Mayor
yeah.
Pro Tem. Thank you.
We have his number.
Right.
you got my number.
Yep. Joe Bundret? Joe, you want 3 minutes? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Joseph Brundrett. I'm from Abbeys Angels and Joe's Jolly Elves. I'm here tonight to talk about the annual effort to bring Christmas to kids whose mothers are currently battling breast cancer. Those mothers having chemotherapy often don't have the energy, finance, or immune system or time to do Christmas shopping, making Christmas uncertain. This year, with the continued pandemic into this year, has again compounded the strain of bringing the holiday to life. This will be our 6th year of doing this, and we have coordinated with Cindy's Hope Chest to get the names of children who are most in need of the Christmas spirit this year. Each child has a wish list with a want, need, wear, and read item that can be met. If you wish to adopt a child, we ask that you give the child one item from each category. Packages should be wrapped and delivered to us by December 20th. We are currently planning to help 20 children. If you wish to be a child's elf or angel, please let us know. Please provide your name, phone number, and email, and we will assign children as soon as their lists are received. We encourage everyone to get involved in bringing the joy of Christmas and the peace of a familiar tradition of gifts under the tree to children who need such stability, particularly this year when everything else is in turmoil. And I would like to extend a thank you to the members of the Indian Trail Town Council for the continued support in this endeavor, and would like to again ask the council to add their names to the list of elves and angels and take in a child. You can reach us or contact us via email at abbeysangels@gmail.com or claire@brundrett.net, or through Cindy's Hope Chest. We also do have a website now, abbeysangels.com, for you
Is
to
that
visit.
ABBIE?
ABBIANGELS.com.
Yeah, I have it on here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Ms. Queen, I have all that information. I'll get it over to you. All right. I'll close public comments. Council, any feedback from you? Mr. Code?
I just have something real quick to say. Tom, it's good to see you and your lovely bride here, our new council person. I just wanted to make a comment. I've been up here for, almost, 10 years' worth, so I've seen at least 5 different elections go through. I've never seen someone who didn't win the election come back the next meeting. and
Mr. Cohen, sorry.
Marshal Brooks is back. And
Mr. Cohen, sorry to interrupt. Your mic, sorry. It's on?
You can hear me. But Mr. Marshal Brooks, appreciate you coming in. It shows a lot of class, and it shows that you do care about the town, and appreciate you coming in, and it's impressive, so, thank you.
Mr. Barber?
To the gentleman that spoke, when you got questions about stormwater, we have stormwater committee meetings. You're always welcome to come. The next one's in January. Any questions about the town like that, you're welcome to call our town manager and get your questions answered from that standpoint. As far as property assessment to the counties is dictated by state law. So they have to do that every so many years. So that's, dictated by state law, just so you'll know. And as far as the powwow, yes, there used to be one over here, and there used to be one, and I know the town manager and the mayor have been talking to the people about bringing that back, so there has been discussions about it, just so you'll know. Thank you for bringing that up.
What was the date of that meeting you said in January?
All right. So, yep. Thank you, Council. Captain James? Thank you, sir.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, I've laid those packets from last month in front of you there to kind of give you an idea about the numbers from October. 253 total reportable offenses last month. We were up 26, which it kind of shows a gradual rise up, but I'll tell you that come out of 2 rashes of B&Es and car break-ins that both have been cleared and the offenders arrested. One actually ended up in a pursuit that actually went into Mecklenburg County with a stolen vehicle out of that same rash there off of Union William Trail Road. 291 business checks and then 3,221 preventative patrols. Traffic crashes are trending up again as well. 126 last month, but our injuries are still down. 22 is still too much, but I'd like to get that number down to 0 if we could. So I will, with the holidays approaching for Thanksgiving and Christmas, I would like to ask our community to please slow down and watch these speed limit signs, and also wear your seat belts, because the heaviness of traffic is going to get even worse than it is now over the next 2 months. I'll be glad to take any questions you might have.
Any questions for Captain James? Mr. Cohen?
Let me remind you, that was the Braves. Thank you, sir.
Very satisfying for you.
Well, it was, but it was more satisfying to get you to say "Go Braves" than anything.
Any other questions? Mr. Moss? No. Captain James, just one quick question in regards to the crashes that you've seen. Is speed the major factor in it, or is it also speed and other items?
It's speed and other items. I wouldn't say speed is the leading contributor.
It is not?
It's not.
Okay.
Now, speed is our leading contributor to injuries.
Right.
Speeds go up, injuries go up, and the severity of the crash overall. But still, the intersections we're having issues with, and that's more about people not paying attention or trying to follow the person that goes through in front of them. And they end up violating a red light or running a red light, and then they end up in an open intersection with traffic moving already. So those speeds, when they don't really counter, or it's not very counterintuitive between the 2 speeds of the vehicles when you match them depending on the way they strike each other.
Okay.
That justifies some of those injuries.
And most of these crashes occurring on 74?
The majority.
The majority of them, because of the intersections, the red light,
Yes.
no turn on red, that type of thing.
And the speed.
And the speed, 55 coming down that way,
Correct.
right? Okay. Thank you, Captain James.
Yes, sir. One other thing I'd like to say, Mr. Cohn and Mr. Morris, I wish Mr. Head was here as well. It's been a pleasure working with y'all. I hate to see you go, but I'm looking forward to working with the new council as they come in. But I can't tell you enough from my point of view how much I appreciate the help both of you have extended to me since I've been here. So I'd like to say thank you.
Same here,
Thank
same here. Thank you.
Yep. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda if there are no changes? Mr. Cohen has made the motion. All in favor? That is unanimous. See that we have public hearing. Do we have a public hearing tonight? No.
No, we do not.
Okay. And item 10, Mr. McLam.
How are y'all doing again this evening? So really quick, just want to give you an update on the solid waste contract. So, at the last meeting, we talked about council chose to stay with our current vendor for solid waste for the next 5 years. So we are in the middle of writing that contract. We'll probably be reaching out to them in the next couple of days, sending a draft contract to them as well as Karen for review at the same time. It'll have a little bit of information that they'll have to fill in and get back to us. And then once everybody's agreed to it, we'll bring it back to council for final approval. Mike and Jim will then sign it after that. So we are moving in that direction. You can see right there our old contract, the RFP, and then the proposed contract. That's kind of how that process runs, just so that we follow through. Any questions? We are still on track. We want to have a signed contract and agreement in with them by December is our hope. So we should come back in the next meeting in December, hopefully, and have that contract ready for approval. That is our hope.
All right. Any questions for Adam? No. Thank you, Adam.
I get to stay up here for the next item, too.
Oh, you do?
So-
Yeah.
I do. You get
Then
to see my
item
face
11.
for 2 items.
Go
tonight.
ahead, Adam. Take it away.
All right, so the next item is our stormwater maintenance contract, as Mr. Barber mentioned just a few minutes ago. So this is something that we do yearly. So the stormwater maintenance contract, as you see contract details there, we kind of move through the town in a 3-year period, and we clean the creeks in different areas. This contract will be those along South Fork Crooked Creek. So that's roughly the areas between Seacrest Shortcut and Old Monroe Road. That's generally the area that we'll be in. And then also we'll be doing catch basin and flared in section cleanings in Holly Park, Taylor Glen, and Sheridan. One new thing that we put back in the contract this year that was in there years ago but had gotten taken out is actually a very positive thing. It's potentially a reward for a contractor doing good work for us. What we do is we allow a contract renewal. So if we have good prices, they did good work, they finished the work on time, we have the ability the next year to just renew the contract, do a little bit of escalating of some of the unit prices, but keeping the contract at the same value to then move forward and do the next area without having to go out to bid and go back. Same thing that the solid waste contract has at the end of it, where we could do two-year renewals. It's the same general thing. On the other side there, you can see kind of our timeline. We actually went out to bid today. We have a mandatory pre-bid meeting on the 2nd of December. 16th of December, we'll get bids back. And then in January, we'll come for award by council, and then we'll also start the contract, hopefully the end of January. Any questions?
Any questions for Adam? No? All right.
All right.
Thank you, Adam.
Well, one thing I'll remind the board is we are on a 3-year schedule in the town that we'll hit a third this year, a third next year, and a third the following year. If you remember a month or so ago, when we were looking at the CIP, I think we actually showed you a map, so.
That third is only for the creeks and floodplain cleaning. It's not for the catch basin and FES cleaning. We have, Todd's not in the room. We have over 3,000 structures. So we have a ton of structures in town. It takes us a while to get through and clean all those. So, all right. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Mr. Hunsinger, permit compliance services contract?
Thank you, council. Again, we are a MS4 permitting community, so there are certain things every year that we have to comply with as far as our permit. We did come draft a plan, a stormwater management plan, and some of these items is what I've put in that plan. So in order for NCDEQ to, when they audit us next year, they can obviously check the box off pretty much. So some of these items I listed in the memo. The majority of the bulk of the work will be updating our inventory. We did a stormwater outfall inventory back in 2015, and we did an illicit discharge detection inventory for the town. And we obviously need to update that, and it's been a while, so we need to move forward on that, and that's the bulk of that cost. And then obviously we want them to the consultant to look at other items as far as drafting new programs in order to keep in compliance with our permit. So this is the reason why the contract's called MS4 Compliance Service Contract. I'm here today to ask for you to award this contract to Woolpert in the amount of $233,883. This will be a 6-month contract. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Hunsinger? No.
All right,
I need a motion then.
It's not on the motion sheet, just a
I'll
motion
make a
to
motion to approve.
awarding the contract.
To approve the Walford, 6-month contract,
yeah,
233, is that the amount, that's the amount of money, $233,833, is that correct?
$883.
Okay, I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Cohen has made the motion. All in favor? That would be unanimous.
All right, thank you, council.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, David. Mr. Woltowitz, quarterly finance report.
Good evening. Good to be before you tonight. David, Jerry, I want to thank you guys for the support, and I miss you. I'm kind of following Kevin. We've been through a lot together, David, and thank you for everything. My mission tonight is to go over the first quarter results. Very briefly, the week of October 11th, the town manager, Mike, a senior accountant, Alicia Gaddy, and myself, we sit down with all the department heads to go over the results. And a very relaxed atmosphere. Thank you, Mike. They let their hair down. They tell us what's going on in the departments. And I'm happy to report everyone is either on or better than budget first quarter of the year. I'll go over a couple highlights. Grants to outside agencies, that always is a popular one that you guys are generous with. We budgeted $4,500. To date, we've given out $2,000 to the Council of the Aged, so there's still $2,500 in the bank for that. Needed vehicle equipment purchases, I think Adam left. Adam's great about that. He buys his equipment up front. He likes to get it in, and he usually allocates it a third between Powell Bill and Stormwater, perfectly acceptable. So that releases the stress on the general fund, and he gets his equipment, everything comes in. Parks and Rec year-end approved projects, I see Hayden came in. This is what we did at the end of the year last year. We had some extra money because of the pandemic, and council graciously approved some projects. And Mike and I have talked with Hayden, his projects are in process or on the go. Revenues, tax collections are on budget. We start getting our escrow payments in November. Sales tax, I'm happy to report, we're 14.6% ahead after 3 installments, and last year was a record. So sales tax are great. Thank you for keeping our tax rate at 18.5. It all works together. A star next to the next highlight, our planning revenues, we're at $150,000 through September on an annual budget of $200,000. So I'm not sure what Brandy's doing down there, but, and then parks revenue are back at pre-COVID-19. Through October, he's at $87,000, and he's ahead of budget. Lastly, we stay on top of the ARPA. We just finished a 6-day course, so got a lot of information. We got our money in the bank. We're earning interest, which is ours to keep, and that's basically it. Happy to be here, and again, thank you guys. Jerry? Sure.
Questions? Mr. Cohen?
Not really. I just want to tell you that, and I want to tell everybody too, that's got up here and spoke tonight, that we have been through a lot together over the last 10 years. You weren't here 10 years ago, but Jimmy, you've been the town manager, which a lot of people don't realize. You were an interim town manager for a short time. You've helped the town out in a lot of situations. And you've done your job not just well, you've done it extremely well.
Thank you.
You saved the town lots and lots of money. And it's not just a job to you, it's a passion that you do your job well. We've been very fortunate to have you, and I want to thank you personally for all the hard work.
Thank you.
Some of the rough spots that we went through, up and down, And along with Todd, I feel the same way about you, and Adam, Kramer, same to you. Thank y'all for, and
Thank you.
I'll say this again, that I just wanted to, you touched it up, so. thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
for all you've done.
Any other questions for Mr. Waltowitz? No? All right. Thank you, Jim. Mr. Kramer, Christmas Parade, Grand Marshal.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Councilmember Cohen, I'm going to ruin your evening after that nice thank you. I'm going to give you guys the hardest decision you have to make tonight. It's for the Christmas Parade Grand Marshal. I don't envy this. Typically, we come before you with a list of great names, and without fail, here we are again with a list of great names. Just to kind of give you the lay of the land, what we're going to do is present 3 names. I have a brief description. Y'all can chat about that. And then what we would like is at the end for you to nominate and select one person. We will then work internally with staff to come up with a press release. Let that person know that they've been selected, then work through the logistics of the parade. So without further ado, list of names again in no particular order. The first is Pastor Scott Ireland. If you're familiar, he is the head pastor at Stallings United Methodist and is also the backbone and founder of the Back to School Bash. So that happens in Indian Trail, has, I believe, every year since its inception. Provides currently about 12 to 1,500 kids with school supplies, shoes, haircuts, eye exams, and things of that nature. The second name on the list is actually a duo, Mr. Andy and his wife Ruth Ann Peters. Andy Peters is the current president of Rotary, but also is what I call a professional volunteer. Just about every day is doing something, whether it's for Common Heart, Food for Families, Rotary related, you name it, and they're out doing it. So again, newer to Indian Trail, but still making a large impact. Final name on the list is Mr. Harris High. You may know Harris. He is the co-owner of Heritage Funeral and Cremation Service right on Old Monroe. So not only a business owner, but just very active in the community. Is the current and long-term serving treasurer of Rotary, as well as serving professionally on boards that deal with the cremation and funeral services, as well as a board member for Council on Aging. So these are the 3 names before you. Again, looking for a nomination and selection of one name.
Council, any discussion from any of you, or do you guys have a preferred choice right now?
I have one.
Mr. Morse, we'd like to hear it.
Yeah, I like Mr. Scott Ireland. I really don't know these gentlemen, but from what I read, especially with the back-to-school bash and the amount of families that he's impacting, I think he'd be a great selection.
Any comments, any objections, or any support?
Sounds good to me. I go to church there. So I think they're all good choices,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think they're all good, and I'll agree. I don't know any of them.
All right, so Jerry, I guess you go ahead and make that motion.
Sure. I'll make the motion to have Scott Ireland be the Grand Marshal of the Christmas Parade for 2021.
Mr. Morse has made the motion. All in favor? That's unanimous.
Appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. And again, Councilmember Morris and Councilmember Cohen, appreciate all that you've done. I expect to see you out at concerts and fishing eventually and things of that nature. So again, pleasure. Feel free to always be in contact and offer your opinion. Have a great night to everyone.
All right, just give me one quick minute.
We should have made you do it. You're in a Rotary. Should have made you make the nomination. Not only, and then I'll come to your next meeting just to watch them fire at you.
Are you gonna be at the next meeting?
Beg your pardon? Oh, is that what's the
Guess so,
problem?
unless they call us another meeting between now and then.
Okay.
Should
Council, item 11E, which is citizen of the quarter nominations. The mayor has a list. He's not here this evening. I'd like to defer this item to the next meeting, if possible. or to January, if possible. January. Any objections to that? Or do you guys absolutely need to do this now?
It's all good.
All
Not
right.
to me. I'm
So, thank you. That, yeah, we're gonna table that one. Next up, item 13, manager's update.
Good evening. Several things. This week, we have Veterans Day, and thank you for acknowledging the veterans in the moment of silence. Town Hall will be closed for business that day, but we will be here at 7 o'clock that night for the Veterans Day celebration. So hopefully you can join us, and to all those veterans, we say thank you. Also, if your solid waste is scheduled to be picked up on Thursday, never fear, they will be out there to pick it up, so there'll be no delay on that. We also have a Shred It event this Saturday from 10 until 1. If you're a resident of Indian Trail and you've got some stuff you need shredded, come on down to Town Hall and we'll be happy to have a vendor there that will take it off your hands. We also don't want to forget the Christmas parade. We're starting to put up lights this week, Todd. We're sensitive that you want more and more lights, so we're certainly trying to do that. The Christmas parade will be December 5th from 4 until 7. It begins in the downtown and ends at Chestnut Square. You'll be hearing more about that. The RFP for the audit firm will be going out in the next few days if it hasn't gone out already. We have received our audit back in draft form that the LGC has looked at and approved. And Jim, I don't want to steal your thunder, so if I'm off, tell me. But we got another clean audit this year, which is really, really good. Not every town in North Carolina can say that. So congratulations to you and to Jim and his staff for making sure that's done. The last thing, I've been through probably more elections than I can count in my career, and it's the time where we have the changing out of the board, which we will do next year, or next month, I'm sorry. And we're going to be missing David and Mike and Jerry, and we've only worked together for maybe a little over a year, but I have really enjoyed working with you three fine gentlemen. I say that to Mike in absentia, since he's not here. And hopefully through our working relationship, you have gained a little bit more knowledge about how towns in North Carolina work, or in some cases don't work. As I've told each of you, don't be a stranger. Just stay in touch. Every time I go by the ABC store, David, I think about you, and I know that's your passion and love, and I always give you a progress report. So, as Harry Truman said, you're being promoted to citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. That's all I have.
Thank you. Council comments.
Mr. Cohn?
Very good. Mike, I'd like to say I'm glad that reminds you it's not like Otis and Andy Griffin, but anyway, this is one of our last meetings. I'll be here the next meeting, and so I won't drag this out very long, nor will I the next meeting. But I left Mike you out, and when I mentioned the other people's name, you've done a great job, and thank you for coming in and filling in when the town needed you the most. And also Kathy, you've done a wonderful, wonderful job. We're lucky to have you, and Abby, we're very, very, very lucky to have you. And Brandy just snuck in. I just looked up and saw her over there, and I feel the same way about you, Brandy. You guys are the best. You really do. You make us look good all year round. And it's just, and I do believe, too, that we have a marvelous attorney, too, that works with us. So I'm just happy for all of us. With that being said, and our fine captain over here, too, that this Atlanta Braves fan, thank you for all you've done. And you came in a situation where it was quite different also, and you've done a marvelous job. You haven't even noticed much difference in the way it was before than it is now. And thank you for all you've done. So very fortunate. Thank you for making me look good all these years, because it's hard making me look good. So appreciate y'all, and I'll see you next meeting.
Mr. McIntyre.
So I get to see somebody say goodbye twice, and that's David, right? David, it's been a pleasure serving with you again. Jerry, it's been a pleasure serving with you as well. I do wish you guys the very best. As Mike said, you get upgraded to citizen. I do envy you because of the free time you're going to have, but I guess in 2 years that'll happen for me. The town has gone through some very tough situations, as David mentioned. One of them was when I got appointed onto the council. It was really an incredible moment. And we had Captain James coming in when Captain Coble, passed away sadly. Mike, you're coming in. David, you coming in when Shirley wasn't able to continue here. So it's good that all of us was able to step up and really help the town. We have a good council. We have some good people coming in. Congratulations. I see Tom here. Congratulations on the election. Was a good election. People spoke, so therefore we can continue doing some good work for the people in regards to traffic and other things. Staff, as always, can't see it up here without recognizing you and the work that you do, getting us prepared and making us look good, being honest with you. The information that we receive timely from financials to projects to everything, so we do appreciate that. And I want to just say to everybody, as Captain James said, slow down a little bit. It is holiday season. Exercise some caution. That way you don't have your car in the shop and you can't go shopping. All right? Thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Mr. Barber.
Mr. Cone and Mr. Morris and Mr. Head, thank you for your service. Wish you well. I may have voted for 3 of you years ago. But it was wonderful serving with you. We've been very professional up here since I've been here, and I think that's admirable for the whole community, and it sets a good tone for the next council. And I appreciate what you've done for the town. I know it's not sitting up here and, and everything, but thank you. Also, I want to, we had Margaret Rogers pass away here in town, and a lot of people knew her as Mama. She babysat and raised a lot of people here. I think I read in her obituary that they claimed that she helped raise over 50 kids here. So she was known as Mama in town. So my condolences and thoughts out to the Rogers family. She was well loved in town. I do want to congratulate our newly elected council members. We have Dennis Gay, Crystal Bucoluk, and I'm going to learn to say that one day. Would like to introduce Mr. Tom Amberg. He is here in the audience with his wife Kelly, and she was the one who ran the campaign. So, so congratulations there. The Indian Trail Turkey Shoot still going on, 1 p.m. every Saturday until Thanksgiving Day. And then we have it at 9 a.m. till noon on Thanksgiving Day. VFW does have a fundraiser this Friday, 5 to 8 p.m. I understand they got some good hot dogs and hamburgers. Correct.
Yep.
So but other than that, I'd like to thank the staff and everybody for the wonderful job you do. Have a blessed evening. Thank you.
Mr. Morris.
Well, my peers up here have really stole the thunder, but everything they said is quite true. The staff, y'all do a wonderful job, and as David said, you make this look good, or at least make me look maybe a little better. It's really been a rewarding experience serving on council for 4 years, and it's definitely not what I thought it was going to be when I joined. I have been forced to look from the other side of the coin, so to say, on issues, and I have found myself kind of pivoting a position now and again. But it's definitely been rewarding. I'm thankful that the voters had selected me to represent them, and I've tried to do that in my time here. I've tried to be consistent and steady in some of the decisions that I've made, and I have been called Councilman No on more than one occasion, which is good. I take that as an honor. Gentlemen, you guys, you really do make a good council. We are able to talk about the issues and not get personal over it, and I thank you for that. I have seen, as a resident of this town, I've seen past councils And I'm sure the residents also have seen those past councils based on the votes that was cast this past election, which I'm so thankful that it turned out the way it did. This Thursday night, I'll be at the Veterans Service. I am a veteran of the Air Force, and I'm still a proud servant. Still proud to have served the Air Force. You know, Thanksgiving's coming on us, and Common Heart is one of my favorite charities out there. They're doing a great Thanksgiving Day giveaway. So if you have it within your capacity to maybe donate to Common Heart, that would be greatly appreciated. And y'all have a great week. Looking forward to 2022, and love y'all. Y'all have a good one. Good night.
One quick question before we adjourn. Mr. McLaurin, this is the last meeting in November, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we will convene, I think, December 7th for
14th.
14th. All right, so thank you. Just for the audience, motion to adjourn.
So moved. I made them all, so let me keep it up.
Mr.
And
Cohen has made the-
Congratulations, Tom, Crystal, and Dennis. I meant to say that too. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Mr.
I
Cohen.
make a motion to.
Yeah, Mr. Cohen has made the motion. All in favor? All right, that's unanimous. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.